to spread the gospel, to let people know what Jesus has done for me. You know, I've spread it a lot of things. There was a time I was letting you know what high fashion had done for me. I was letting you know what the Hennessy had done for me. I was letting you know all these things. But now I'm letting you know what Jesus has done for me. And in that, I'm no longer a slave. I'm a son now, a son of God. I'm free through to Christ. I'm thinking of something I want to say out loud. Christian innovator. When you think about the church, because it has to stand on the word so hard, it loves to be extra traditional to the point of blocking innovation. So when we started Sunday service, we were able to be free where people were in doubt of it, in question. Some people still in question now, saying it's not a church. You can't call it a church because you don't have a pastor. All of these things.
Is it a church?
Well, we have a pastor now. So,
but is it a church? Like, I mean, is that kind of the ultimate compliment for you, that Sunday service is a church?
Well, let's ask North what she thinks. We based our design not loosely. Okay, we Zara. We Zara James Terrell. We one-to-one did. So
it's a good one to use. He's a good one to use.
Yeah. So and I have the utmost respect for
He's unreal.
For Ortega also.
Right.
The head of Zara, because I would like to Zara.
Right.
I want to Zara their infrastructure.
Right.
And the way their office environment. So the church that we did, I was slightly embarrassed to show James that we had copied his circular space.
Yeah.
And it didn't even have an Oculus at the top. So
Yeah.
we just copied the way he did the benches, and then we did some lights. But the lights would move slow, and sometimes it looked like belly.
Sounds a big yurt.
Yeah. So what's a yurt?
It's like a big sort of like rounded teepee type environment.
Oh yeah, yes. Like, so I showed, North a picture of a James Terrell structure that I loved, and she said, "That looks like church." That's what church looks like to North. And North is, she was last night just actually crying about when she couldn't go to church when it would be out of town and she'd be at school. And she was like, church needs to be here every Sunday. So now we'll only move the church mostly on Friday, and only move the choir mostly on Friday and throughout the week. But we'll always have it at home, because church does need to be a place that people know they can go to, and they don't have to hop on a flight and chase it down and find. That's what is a part of what I think makes it a church. Another thing is, when North talks about church, he says, I'm going to bring my friends here and I'm going to dance. Tell me someone that you know that's in our age group that their most positive memory of their childhood, of one of them equally, was going to church. Where people are like, I want to go to church.
And what do you think that is?
Sitting in those pews, the tradition, the four walls. God doesn't exist only in four walls. God is everything and everywhere. So Christian innovation, Christian innovators, that's the net that we're casting for the organization that we have now, looking for
Christian innovator,
Christian
entertainer,
innovators.
rapper, preacher.
Well, no longer entertainer. I'm not here for anyone's entertainment.
Interesting. Interesting. So let me ask you this real quick, because I want to go here for a minute.
Yeah.
North's all in. You're raising your family in this environment now, and they support you, and they're believing. Kim as well.
Yes.
Right. So what about, like, say you're making this album? What about those who are talented, who bring something special to the table, who are creative, who inspire you in that regard, but not necessarily worshiping at the altar? How's your relationship with them changed because you're so driven by your faith now?
They're still here. I believe it was King David. Now, I'm not a theologian. I'm a recent convert. So I just wanted to say that before I start quoting or misquoting scripture.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on a journey.
Yes. So, yeah, that was this journey of this album. You know, there was times where I was asking people to fast during the album. I was asking people to, this is going to be radical, what I'm about to say. I know this is, we can look at it to edit. There's times where I was asking people to not have premarital sex while they were working on the album. I know that's one with the shade room. Be like, what you mean don't have premarital sex? You better turn that Meg Thee Stallion on right now.
Right.
Yeah, so, but seriously, there's times where I was, there's times where I went to people that were working on other projects and said, could you just work and focus on this?
And not just because you needed their attention, but because it wasn't in keeping with the spirit of what you were making. You felt that it was at odds, what they were working on.
Yeah, I thought it
would tarnish the experience.
Yeah, I thought if we could all focus and fast. I mean, it's known when people pray together, families that pray together stay together. When people pray together and fast together, the power is increased. So I had some things where theories of recent converts, they go in and, we're a lot of times the most fire and brimstone, the most judgmental.
Yeah.
Because we don't know everything that we did was of and not for God. So we have to
It's
really
a reaction
discern.
to a degree, isn't it? It's a reaction of what you've left behind. So you feel like you must commit 1,000% to something in order to leave behind the environment you came from.
And tell other people that are around that they need to be committed 1,000%. And that's the thing. But God was patient, and my family was patient for me when they were praying for me. When they saw me at the Pornhub Awards, there's family members, they couldn't tell me not to do it. All they could do was pray and be patient, and it had to happen in God's time. So for me, when I had people around who I would like them to be where I'm at in my journey, there's times where all I could do is pray and be patient, because it's going to only be in God's time.
But you've lived a well-documented life filled with temptation, and it's all throughout your records and all throughout your music, and it's been quoted. And what's your relationship with temptation now? How do you process that? Are you able, once you find God to the degree you have, to just switch that off? Is that possible?
I think when people have been addicted to something, like if you ask somebody that's a drug addict, it's like you say, are you still addicted? Well, yeah, you turn it off actually. Like with God, I've been able to beat things that had a full control of me. Things that, that Playboy that I found when I was 5 years old was written all over the moment when I was at the MTV Awards with the Timberlands, the Balmain jeans, before people was rocking Balmain jeans, and the Hennessy bottle. It's like that was such a script out of a rock star's life. My mom had passed a year before, and I said, some people drown themselves in drugs, and I drown myself in my addiction.
Which was what?
Sex.
And that's what drove the ego, too. Fed the ego.
I mean, that was part of feeding the ego. Money, clothes, cars, accolades, the advent of social media, a Twitter account, paparazzi photos, going to Paris Fashion Week, all of that.
It's overwhelming. I mean, when you clear your mind to the degree you are now, and you sit out here in Wyoming making music which is spiritually fulfilling to you and hopefully to millions of other people.
You know what? I was not just addicted to sex. I was also addicted to inspiration. But there's only one,
Aren't they both serving the same purpose to some degree? And I mean this, let me qualify that statement. Okay, addiction, be it sex, drugs, alcohol, is a coping mechanism that is designed to fill a space in you that can't be filled, an insatiable hole, right, requiring more and more. You said inspiration, maybe I'm meaning more ambition. Isn't that doing the same thing?
Well, they said that, a lot of successful men had a high sex drive.
Right. Who said that?
They.
quotes attributed today. I love it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I meant